Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are exploring something absolutely incredible based on the work of the Inflection Point. If you're a Christian woman who firmly believes you were created on purpose and with purpose, but, you're seeking that absolute clarity on how to actually live it out, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to break down how to finally stop guessing and start truly understanding the unique way you were wired.
So tell me, have you ever wondered if you somehow just missed your calling? Like maybe you're out there faithfully serving, you're checking all the boxes, but there's this quiet discontent lingering in your heart. You might find yourself quietly wondering, Lord, is there more? Am I really doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now? That kind of spiritual uncertainty is so incredibly common, especially when you're entering a new season of life. I just want to reassure you right out of the gate, you are definitely not alone in feeling this way.
Okay, let's dive into this. Identifying exactly where you are right now is the first step. You might be navigating an empty nest and wondering what on earth comes next. Perhaps you're considering a major career pivot. Or maybe you're just sitting in your current role feeling completely unutilized. It's that persistent, lingering sense of, is there more? And what's absolutely fascinating is that this restlessness, it isn't a sign that you're lost. Actually, it's an invitation. But here's the catch. We so often handle this invitation the completely wrong way.
And that brings us to the harsh reality, the cost of staying stuck. When we feel that quiet discontent, what do we usually do? We just wait. We wait around for this magical lightning bolt of clarity. We're holding out for a burning bush moment like Moses had, where God just loudly spells out exactly what job title we should pursue next. But the truth is, waiting for that lightning bolt has real, tangible consequences. It literally keeps you stuck.
Let's map out exactly what staying stuck looks like in real life. First, you lose months, sometimes even years, just overthinking every single decision and delaying action because you're so terrified of getting it wrong. Then you start draining your resources, spending money on endless generic personality tests or spiritual gift quizzes, hoping just one of them will finally hand you the magic answer. But ultimately, the biggest impact is emotional and spiritual exhaustion. You start doubting yourself, maybe withdrawing from relationships, and comparing yourself to those women who seem to have it all figured out. It just drains your joy and your kingdom impact. Which brings us to the founder of the Inflection Point, Dr. Naomi Muinga Kimuyu. Her story is just a perfect example of this journey. Surprisingly, she wasn't lost at all on paper. She was a highly successful implementation scientist with a PhD. She had a great job, great colleagues, total stability. And yet, she still had that same quiet discontent. Because of her background in research, where she was literally trained to recognize patterns and uncover what others completely missed, she had this major realization. She realized she needed to stop looking for some random new job title and start looking at the clues God had already woven directly into her life.
And she actually found her foundational proof for this right in the text. Think about the story of Bezalel in Exodus 31. God didn't just randomly point to Bezalel and say, hey, go build this incredibly complex tabernacle. Good luck with that. No way. The text clearly says God filled him with the Spirit, with wisdom, understanding, and all kinds of skills long before giving him the assignment. This isn't just a nice little story. It's a profound case study in how God actually operates. He wires us with specific abilities before he ever gives us a task.
This leads us to the ultimate paradigm shift of this entire explainer. Are you ready? Design precedes assignment. Let that sink in. God forms you internally, your motivations, your instincts, the unique way you naturally respond to needs, long before he ever assigns you a task. You are his workmanship designed with deep, intentional purpose, so you don't have to chase the assignment at all. You just have to understand the design.
And this brilliantly illustrates two very, very different approaches to how we live our lives. If your focus is purely on chasing the assignment, frantically finding the right job or ministry title without actually knowing how you're wired, you are practically guaranteeing yourself confusion and burnout. But when you shift your mindset to understanding your design, everything changes. You get lasting clarity. You can even find immense joy in your current role simply by aligning with the inherent patterns God already gave you.
So how do we get there? We look at the Inflection Point method. It's a beautifully structured, scripture-rooted framework broken down into 5 very clear steps: reflect, recognize, reframe, refine, and respond.
Let's unpack what each of these steps actually means in practice, because this is a prayerful, structured journey of self-discovery, not just some quick-fix internet quiz. First, you reflect prayerfully on your unique life story, your past experiences, your transitions. Then you recognize the recurring patterns, like what naturally motivates you,
How do you instinctively step up to serve others? Next, you reframe, and this one is huge. You replace those limiting beliefs, the comparison, and the confusion with solid biblical truth. Fourth, you refine by putting actual concrete language around your design. And finally, you respond by identifying practical, totally confident steps for your next season.
So, the crucial point is, what does this entire process actually build toward? The answer is your personal giftedness statement. Now, this isn't just a fluffy, feel-good affirmation you stick on your mirror. It is a crystal clear, actionable declaration that captures exactly how God uniquely designed you to make an impact. And because it's based on your internal design rather than a specific job, it anchors your identity in absolutely any season of your life.
To see just how practical this really is, take Valentine. She's a project manager who went through this exact process. And she didn't just write her statement in a journal and forget about it. No, she shared that she actually used her statement during a recent job interview to elaborate on exactly what she brings to their team. I mean, wow, that is the power of having clear language for your God-given design. It equips you to confidently articulate your real value in actual, real-world professional settings.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is Paris's journey. She was a researcher who, through this process, realized her true design was actually better suited elsewhere. By understanding her specific giftedness, she was able to seamlessly redirect her career from doing the hands-on science to offering vital administrative support to the science team. Once she understood her wiring, she had the freedom and the absolute clarity to make a brilliant, deeply fulfilling career pivot that perfectly aligned with how she naturally creates an impact.
So, if you're listening to this and you're ready to find this kind of clarity for yourself, the Inflection Point offers 2 distinct paths to walk through this 5-step method. The first is the Giftedness Discovery Journey. This is a 4-week group intensive, and it's perfect for those of you who really thrive in community, learning, and sharing stories alongside other amazing women. The second option is the Personal Design Discovery Session, which is a highly personalized, 3-hour, one-on-one deep dive into your unique life story with dedicated coaching.
But here's the best part. Regardless of whether you choose the community journey or the private session, the deliverables remain exactly the same. You walk away with tangible tools. You'll get your own personal giftedness statement, a personal design discovery guide, a giftedness and prayer journal to keep you anchored, and most importantly, absolute clarity for your next faithful step. You get exactly what you need to confidently steward your gifts.
Look, if there's only one single thing you take away from our time today, please let it be this. You do not need perfect clarity today. Seriously, you don't need to have the whole shebang figured out, and you certainly don't need to be some sort of theological expert. The only thing you need right now is just a simple willingness to listen and explore how God has already beautifully designed you, which leaves us with one final pretty powerful question to think about. Once you finally stop chasing the assignment and you start recognizing the beautiful, deeply intentional way you've been wired, what will you do with your God-given design? The clues are already woven right there into your life story. It is time to uncover them. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope it sparks a completely new, exciting way of looking at your purpose.